Okay.
Oh, we just roll right in.
What up?
We just dive right in. I'm over. Oh, I got to move everybody's around. Okay. There we go.
Being able to talk and speculate about Star Wars is long overdue. Damn it.
Yeah. We haven't been here in a while, so we're gonna keep going. We're gonna get into it.
Hell yeah.
But so welcome everybody. We're gonna talk a little Andor. As always, I have my cohort in cryo. I have, Hawks is over here, and we got
What
Matt
up?
down there, and we got Coffee joined us, and I think we're supposed to have another. Maybe I don't know if he's gonna show up, but we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit of Andor. We're gonna see some trailers. It's a big night. This is the fall kickoff for what is going to be the rest of the year for Star Wars, pretty much. So, yeah, I think I'm a little bit excited about 3. Honestly, everyone's ass was hurt that we didn't get it the day we were supposed to get it 3 weeks ago. But honestly, I'm kind of pumped on 3 episodes.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know what people are really expecting at this point. Schedules change, reshoots happen. The schedule change doesn't happen as often, but we have to expect they want these things to come out at specific times I hope for reasons. You know what I mean? I hope we're gonna get a lead up into other connected.
Well, I mean, they changed the Bad Batch premiere till next year, so I was hoping those were going to run concurrently, but so much for that. But I mean, you're talking about what, 12 episodes? Is that what I heard?
Is 12 announced, right? Yeah.
Of Andor. So
yep.
And what, 4 seasons? So
2.
Oh, is it? Oh, 5 years. Sorry, 4 or 5 total years.
Correct. Yeah. As far as I understand, the first season is just going to be the first year, which is 5 BBY, and then the second season is going to be 4 arcs of 3 episodes each, 1 for each year of the remaining 4 years, up to Rogue One.
Okay.
Well,
hopefully
I mean,
the pacing doesn't feel like it's crazy.
Well, I mean, you don't want it to be like Hot D, right? I mean, you don't want it to be like 3 episodes and then they're 3 years in the future, and then another 3 episodes and they're 15 years in the future, and you're like, what happened? Right? I mean,
true.
That's
at least it's a year.
Yeah, it's a year. I mean, it should be a year. There's a lot to cover. I mean, there's a lot going on. We're gonna get a lot of flashbacks to Clone Era. There's a lot going on, and I figure everybody's gonna be doing watch parties tonight. Everybody's gonna be divvying up and pairing off into different groups, and I know you East Coasters are going to be asleep for the most part. So yeah, I think this will get everybody in early. Let's talk a little bit of speculation. Let's watch the trailers, and let's just have a little fun, because I think come 11 o'clock, it's party time. Everybody's going to be everywhere. So yeah, let's start this shindig with let's see, the older trailer was what, 3 months ago, something like that.
We got that first teaser with the guy hitting
the bell,
tower.
Right?
Yep.
All right, so
It feels like forever ago.
Yeah,
I mean,
was that Celebration?
Yeah. Okay,
I'm looking for a show as an East Coast person that makes me set my alarm for 3 a.m. I was doing that for Mandalorian. I was doing that for Loki, but not so much recently. I have been patient because
I think you're going to be upset
blowing me away.
That you're not watching at the time. This time, I think this is, like I said, I do think this is a sleeping giant. I do think that this is
I've been saying that for a year.
Yeah, everybody's been sandbagging. There's a lot of sandbagging been going on, but here it is. Let's watch it.
Love how the music synced up to that.
They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied. They're everywhere. They're watching me now.
She's gonna be awesome, dude.
Soon enough, these days will end. There will be no rules going forward.
Damn.
People are standing up. That's what a reckoning sounds like.
Yeah, it even said there originally August 31st.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's less than a month that it got pushed back, which didn't really feel like much. I feel like we got here super quick. And I don't mind the delays. If a delay is there for the sake of finishing touches and making sure you got this thing right, take all the time you need. That's the thing. I don't want to rush Star Wars.
Give me Grand Moff Tarkin for sure, Leia. I want a little cameo. They've done the CGI already.
Oh, with Tarkin? Yeah,
bro.
So I saw an article earlier today that said that there was not really going to be any fan service or unnecessary cameos in this show. So that makes sense. But I mean, my background normally is literally a painting of Tarkin, so that would be awesome for me as well.
So cool.
He's so good.
But as far as the pushed off almost a month, again, kind of what Matcave was saying, I don't mind it. Especially if it's in pursuit of a more polished product that they're giving us. And I have a theory about the first 3 episodes and why they're releasing 3 and not just 1 is because there's so much they have to set up. We're talking about this on my stream last night. There's so much they have to set up for the general population that doesn't know what the CIS is, that doesn't really know who Cassian is other than Rogue One. Maybe they remember him. But they don't know the bigger players, the galactic politics that are going on. And so, the first 2 episodes are going to be a lot of setup, kind of a slow burn, and then there's going to be a huge payoff in episode 3. And I think that's why they're releasing all 3, and it's going to leave people speechless.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. I think that's going to be... my other theory behind that, too, is, and I was thinking about this the other day as I was rewatching it, I think this was also about the pacing because a lot of people gave Book of Boba Fett a lot of crap for the beginning of that series and being broken up. But when I rewatched it together, I was like, okay, this actually flows really well. And the whole portion of the flashbacks and everything, it goes by really fast when you watch it together. So I was curious. I'm like, are they trying to keep all of the exposition and the flashbacks together, like to keep the flow this time? Maybe
there are going to be flashbacks, and that's where I've heard Andor's dad is going to be executed by the rebel or the Republic forces rather. He's going to be hanged by them. And so I exactly what you're saying. If they released these 1 episode at a time, people would say, oh, it's just flashbacks. It's too slow. This thing's boring. And then you'd lose half your audience by the time you get to the good stuff.
Well, hold up. We gotta welcome somebody famous.
Shut your mouth.
All right. Sheev's here. Welcome. But yeah, I mean, it's look, the Cobra Kai, the Netflix model works because there's no time for speculation. They give you everything on a plate, family style, enjoy it at your leisure. And Disney has a model where they're trying to keep you vested for X amount of time. And they want the subscriptions from new people that are coming in. So it's it's a double-edged sword here for everybody. And honestly, pushing 3 weeks really does us more justice because we're not sitting here week 1 going, wow, the flow of that really sucked. Or, oh, I wish there was more right out of the gate. This way, we're getting 3 out of the gate. 9 more weeks puts us into December. I think it's going to be good for everything.
Yeah, I think they could have looked at the first arc and just been like, yeah, we need to put all this together because the 4th episode, like, you know what I'm saying? I would rather get all the exposition out of the way early than have 3 weeks of we're just talking about the setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's an important part of what, you know, maybe they look back at Kenobi after Kenobi aired and we're like, oh, you know what, we got 12 episodes, let's keep the time frame and let's just go all at, you know, 3 at once.
Dude, another thing too, like,
you know,
we keep going back to it, but 200 named characters, like they have to introduce a shit ton of people. I think the first 3 episodes are going to just like build all the relationships. You know what I'm saying? Introduce kind of a bunch of people, the core groups that we're going to be following around.
Well, and to Coffee's point, I feel like there, you know, they said, oh, there's no fan service. I'm sorry, but Saul Guerrera's absolutely fan service. Mon Mothma's absolutely fan service. Like these characters are fan service, even though they're built into the storyline already.
Well, that's what the article that I heard mentioned earlier, and I didn't read the full article.
The whole show is fan service.
I mean, it's Star Wars. Everything is fan service. But the article I was saying was basically the showrunner. I forget his name. The main guy.
Tony Gilroy?
Yeah, it's that guy. He was saying that if there's a character in here, he has a purpose. Whoever the character is has a purpose. So sure, we can count that as fan service. Even Tarkin, if he shows up, could be considered fan service, which, you know, I don't know how well he would fit into the story, but we can rest assured that if he is in it, that his character is going to be necessary.
Tarkin is 100% fan service, and someone that I've been. It is, but it fits into the story, and that to Obsession's point, like there isn't really such thing as fan service with Star Wars as long as it fits the story. Like if it fits the story, how is it fan service? It's literally
you may fire when ready.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, Tarkin fits into the story perfectly with the whole Death Star and stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if
every story. No matter
how
during
this time period, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they even fit him into Clone Wars. So.
I was just gonna say, they had him in there. It's like, all right, and he makes sense now, like throughout every time.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I think the term fan service has now been confused with. It's just been equated to pointless cameos. But if something's there, or a character or an item, a ship, or whatever is there for a purpose, sure, call it fan service, because like you said, it's Star Wars. Everything is fan service, but it serves a purpose to the story and has a meaning. If you just have a character walk by and be like, hey, I'm in this, you know, that's pointless. That's silly fan service. And sure, it makes people smile. It's like, oh, you know, like one of the ones I'm concerned about is how big of a role is Babu Frick going to play in this?
Someone mentioned in my stream last night that it's not Babu Frick, just someone of the same species.
I don't know any spoilers or anything yet. So
well, I have no spoilers, but as far as
but that was for the Mandalorian trailer, right?
That's what I thought. I thought Frick was in Mandalorian.
You're confusing the content.
You're right.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm getting my universes confused.
And it is him. Damn it.
And I think I know why Babu Frick is in Mando too, but that's a different story.
I'm telling you right now, we've already discussed why, and people don't want to hear it. So we're gonna skip that off ramp. We're gonna keep going on the pleasure highway. And
something I thought about too, we were talking about all the cameos and the people that show up that are fan service. Well, we talk about the galaxy as like it's a massive place, but I imagine that these core planets that these people frequent, it's just like one state in the US. They're like an hour away in comparison to what we're talking about. So they do cross paths. They do know who, like people know who Mon Mothma is. You know what I mean? She's a higher up. We're going to see other senators that we've heard of before.
Especially when you're talking about the dissent in the ranks of the Senate, right? Because really she is one of the dissenting voices to the Empire, right? To this whole, gambit that the Emperor has laid out into the new Empire, she is one of the main voices against Leia, Bail. These are strong political voices that are operating against the Empire, that they're watching, relentlessly, because they're not conforming to everybody's idea of what it should be. So this is very how can I put this loosely without getting us banned? This is very World War II, right? The feeling of this show for me is very World War II. There's a lot of underground spying going on. There's a lot of trading sides. Like, oh, I was for this 100%, and then you watch somebody get killed, or you watch a group of people get killed, and you're like, I'm out. I'm going to start finding a way to work against you. And that's very much how this feels. This feels like war, and that's what I'm going to enjoy about this. Is it feels like gritty Saw Gerrera war, right?
Yeah.
The Star Wars. We finally get gritty Star Wars.
Yes. Oh, we're going to be seeing characters get pulled into this that they want nothing to do with it, and their world is going to get just
okay. I have
starting with Cassian.
I have a quick poll. Okay, chat, you do your thing. We're going to do our thing, but give me a 1 in the chat if you think we will see somebody get thrown out of an airlock in the first 3 episodes. Is it going to be that gritty? Yes. 1, 2, no. Let's start at the top. Hawks, do you think we're going to get that kind of grit, like somebody getting tossed out of an airlock or getting pushed off a building, or thrown?
Yeah, I think we're going to get some. Yeah, we'll get some close to as close to PG-13, like the high end of that as we can.
Reba cut off a hand, bro,
and we saw Mando do some stuff.
Yeah,
too.
he chopped
some people in half to a table,
took a head to a table. I mean, I think the gloves are off, dude. Are we going to get somebody getting pushed out the airlock?
So.
Is what I want. Like,
I don't know about an airlock. My bad, Matcave. You want
to go for it? You got this, man.
Something that I think could happen, and I know Coffee was talking about a little bit of it earlier, and this is kind of just speculation on my end, but I think it'd be really neat if, from the CIS perspective, knowing that Cassian's family is tied to the Separatists and everything. I don't know if they themselves were Separatists actually, but they were tied to them. It'd be wild if we see, stormtrooper or clone troopers, come down and just be brutal, and just kind of see this kind of side of the clone troopers we've never really seen, but in live action and super gritty. And
I mean, good soldiers follow orders, right?
True that.
I mean, that's kind of the as crazy it is, that's the clone mantra, good soldiers follow orders. So yeah, I mean, to the Separatists, I'm sure the clones were gritty and were vicious, because again, it was war. It was, you're on a planet that's sorry, but you're on the other side,
Do we know how many years after Order 66 this is taking place?
So Coffee was kind of touching on flashbacks, and I think you guys were all talking about it too, but I don't know exactly how this is going to fit in. It's supposed to be 5 years before Rogue One, which is 0 BBY.
Yeah.
So it would be primarily 15 years after Order 66, but I think we're going to see some scenes. I don't know if the show's going to, I kind of think the show's literally going to start with Andor as a kid on Fest, which is his home world, and the clone troopers just come in and just
mess up 5 BBY basically.
Well,
5B or 5.
Well, you have to keep in mind the line in Rogue One where he says, "I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old."
Yeah, and we're going to see him as a kid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the reason that line makes sense is because he's been on the opposite side of the Republic, which the Empire to him is the exact same thing. And so he's been involved in this, and since the age of 6, which I would imagine is when the Republic forces started occupying his world.
Well, and it seems like if we watch, and we'll watch the other trailer here in a second, but if it seems like he stumbles into an Imperial facility that nobody's in for some reason, and that's where he starts to realize that they're just dopes, that they're just, that they think of themselves as so high and mighty, and he might have been planting, no one pays attention to kids.
No,
he might have been planting explosives or gathering intel as a little boy, and we might get we're gonna get some of those flashbacks. You know, and there's no doubt that he has been in this, and they've connected this to Rogue One in a large way. You know, are we gonna get to see the meeting of him and what is it, KSO? No, it's
K2SO.
Yeah, K2SO.
Yeah.
No, I know a lot of, you know, I mean, are we gonna get to see these meetings? I gotta know.
Nah, there's a different droid as far as I'm aware. It's called B2 Emo.
Yeah.
Emo.
Yes, literally, it's B2 Emo. It's actually a cute droid.
Wise choice.
If he doesn't have black around his eye
hair
hole,
back.
if he doesn't have some gauged ear
It's too on the nose.
It's voiced by the same guy that did BB-8, I think.
Okay.
Whatever noises whoever made that.
Yeah. Star Wars Meg was at this like preview for it today, and there's a little video I saw to it. So I don't know. It's a cute droid so far from me, but I do think K2SO is gonna come down the line. Maybe hopefully
he
end of
has
season
to
1.
make an appearance.
I'm a fan of most droids in these shows. I mean, give me a Lola, you know, I need a Lego Lola like yesterday. So yeah, for me, all the droids, even the droid that everybody was like, why is that droid in the entrance? That's the money distributing droid on Kenobi, guys. Come on. Even that guy, I was like, hey, that guy had a purpose, and there was a little person in there, man. I watched the background. That was awesome. We're back to putting people in robot positions instead of the robots making all our jobs. So yeah,
so all of this takes place before the destruction of the first Death Star.
Yes.
Yes.
This is before Rogue One.
So there's no chance to get any crossover with like the Battlefront games.
Well,
I didn't,
or
even
thinking.
Like maybe Infernal Squadron was around for a little while. I'm not saying we'll get Iden Versio because she's probably really young, but
you actually just brought up two of my theories here. So one of the reasons that I asked about the timeline here, because hear me out, I might be crazy. We all know that Bad Batch season 2 was pushed back. What if there was a purpose?
Oh, I'm
for
sure
the pushback or for
it was pushed forward
or the
pushed ahead.
Yeah.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
I think there's a very good chance we could see some of the Bad Batch in live action in Andor.
Oh, that would be really cool. That would
That
be
could be
Give me Crosshair. Give me Crosshair.
Oh, Crosshair
blank.
would make perfect sense.
that would be great.
That's all I need.
Give me command. If you're gonna give me, just like I said, Commander Cody wasn't gonna be in Kenobi. Everybody's like, hey, give me. No. Seeing him here would be a lot more fitting. If Tamora is gonna come back and put that role together, seeing Commander Cody live action,
Man,
be the
you
perfect
guys are gonna
fit.
get me speculating.
Right? Oh, dude, Jedi Mike. Yes, a live action Wrecker.
Oh, yes.
Get it, dude.
Oh, he'd be.
Just show me a troop, like a battalion walking by, and one guy with a long rifle over his shoulder. You can't really see who he is, but you can see like this little thing.
Come on, are we gonna get a live action?
You know
Omega?
it's him.
Yeah.
If we see the
I think live action
Omega,
Omega.
I'm ready
you
to
gotta
learn
give me a
more
little
about her,
blonde
dude.
Mandalorian running around. I'm sorry.
Everybody's thinking, and maybe they do the whole Django thing if there's a Boba season 2, but I think it's Omega. And I think that the reason Boba Fett season 2 hasn't been announced is because there's still more of Omega's story to tell before we get to that. So I think that's the whole thing. We're probably, and to your point, I've thought that the Bad Batch could be in not Rogue One, Andor for a while. I don't know if that's actually going to happen at this point. Who knows? But it'd be really crazy if the beginning of the show has clone troopers killing his family or something, and then he has to team up with clone troopers later on. That's just a cool idea to me.
Yeah. I'm gonna say no, because the people that know of the Bad Batch are the people that actually watched the Bad Batch. The general population hasn't, and this show needs to be the people grabber for Disney.
Yeah.
A lot of people have fallen off over the last couple shows, and they need this to really bring in the people, especially the people that are like, oh, I don't really even like Star Wars that much, but this show, man, was really good.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Muggles liked the last two shows.
That is true. I will grant you that.
It's the sweaties and the people full of haterade in their veins
Yeah.
that are
But I think
gagging
this
on
show
it.
is going to bring a lot of those people back.
I
I
don't
think this is
think
going
that
to get into
I
the
don't think
deep
that the
politics of
Muggles,
Star Wars.
I don't think that the Muggles are upset. I think honestly, around the water cooler, I honestly had conversations with a lot of Muggles, and they were really hyped on what they saw in Kenobi. They're like, with lightsabers, Vader, like they were really excited. They were really excited about Boba Fett. I mean, one of the people I work with, he was like, my kid keeps talking about this Book of Bobby thing, and I'm like, Book of Boba Fett, and he's like, yeah.
Now it's got wars in the name. Where's all the wars?
And you know, he's having to engage with it to have a conversation with your kids. You know what I mean? It's now become part of, back to watching shows with family, right? That's kind of what these shows have brought back, is like sitting down with your kids and watching these shows because dads and moms are into it and kids are into it. And so this show, I think, is gonna get the sweaties that are pissed off about Star Wars, because I'm already hearing it in the polls, in the chats, in the stuff. It's like, oh, it's another Disney show. It's gonna suck. Well, cool, then don't watch it. Don't watch it. Don't make content on it. Oh, wait, you're gonna make content on it because you want those clicks, right? So, it's a double-edged sword, unfortunately, because it's gonna be great for some people, like this guy who's always gonna love everything out.
Hey.
Or they're gonna hate on it. So it's unfortunately just the way it is today.
It's definitely taking a more serious tone, which I think is going to benefit the franchise dramatically. Did any of you watch the 9-minute special that came out on Disney Plus? You saw it?
So I actually saw the re-release of Andor in theaters, which had basically the same kind of 10-minute preview. There's the Rogue One re-release, and it was actually very similar to the one they released for Disney Plus Day, and slight differences. There's actually even a little bit more footage in the Disney Plus Day one, so pretty cool.
I watched that and I was like, oh cool, a little behind the scenes thing, but then all of a sudden the last 5.5 minutes of it was a full scene.
Yeah,
and I sat there like just getting closer and closer to the TV.
I was gonna say, has everyone seen it? It's kind of spoilery. Kind of spoilery.
It's an intense scene.
And here's the thing.
There's a reveal.
The trailers are probably only the first 3 episodes, really. I mean, the stuff that we're getting in any of these trailers is not going to be stuff we're going to see episode 9, 10, 11, right? This is all bait to get people in the door. And the way you do that is with trailers from the content they're about to see. You try not to put a lot of those spoilers and that stuff until later in the show, and you don't spoil those on the national spots, I
don't know how spoilery it was, in my opinion.
I was gonna say, we're talking about the scene with the box, right?
Yeah. I don't know what the box was. So
you need to go back and watch it again.
I kind of forgot.
What's in the box?
What's in the
go back and watch it again, dude.
No, but otherwise, I didn't think. I thought it was other surface level other than the box, but he left.
Bro, when they reveal what it is, and he reveals that he stole it, I'm like, yo, what? Like, is that much of a thing for me? I was like, there's no way. How?
So
there's
the negative. So cool, has anybody? Because I think I've heard the critics saying that this is not so far. Nothing positive has been said about the show yet. Has anybody seen any critics?
I saw positive stuff.
I've seen only positive.
I've only seen positive. Maybe it's my space, but I've only seen positive.
Yeah. These critics, they got early access to the first 4 episodes,
right?
Mm-hmm. And they were talking about the shift in tone that happens when you get to the 4th episode.
Exactly. The criticism I saw was that the first 3 are a slow burn. So it is like an HBO show in that respect, like House of the Dragon. It's taking a little bit to build up into what's actually going on in that show.
Mm-hmm.
These episodes are shorter too. So
now, was Andor a popular character in Rogue One? Really? I mean, at the end, maybe he came through, but honestly, I feel like if anything, aside from the Empire, he was kind of the antagonist most of the show, most of the movie, right? It was Jen that was the beacon of hope, right?
Trying
So
to do the right thing.
yeah, I feel like it's tough to talk about this character because I think we're going to see why he's such an asshole later. I think he's going to watch a bunch of people die, right? I think this is going to be one of Star Wars, until Acolyte comes out. This is the tone for this time. It's rough and harsh out there. It's not the polishy Star Wars that we've seen kind of so far. I think they're going to get a little gritty.
It's like in Rogue One, the scene in the alleyway.
Yeah, dude.
He pulls that guy aside. He's like, okay. And the guy's like, I can't go, my arm and everything. He's like, it's going to be fine. Yeah. Bam.
Bam.
Guy dead in the alley.
Yeah. I think we're going to see why he's like that. I think we're going to see his hope diminish over the course of this show. It's not going to be like the rest of the shows that we see.
I don't even know if it's a hope diminishing thing. I think honestly it's more survival and doing what he needs to do for the rebellion. And I think that's what we're going to see him transition through in this show is really, he maybe has always been kind of an a-hole because I think that's kind of his character. Like, but
I mean, he even talks to Jen and he's like, I don't have like something about hope is a luxury we don't have. In that regard,
that's not necessarily true because he says to her, "Rebellions are built on hope," and that's
she says that.
She says that.
He says that in the beginning. I don't know if you guys. I watched it twice recently. He says that to her in the beginning as kind of a half joke, like.
Oh yeah, I thought
rebellions
that was
are built on hope
than it was.
Obviously, it's but at the same time, like he ends up saying that in the head, like she says it because of him, and it's all just a thing, but that's what he transitions to in Rogue One. But we're gonna see him become that dude that's willing to shoot a dude in the back so that he can't spill beans to the Empire.
Oh yeah. I think people are gonna. It's almost the hateful protagonist. I think people are gonna like not want to like him, but you're rooting for him the whole time because you know where the story ends, right?
She's the most interesting character in Rogue One, in my opinion. Like Jyn Erso was cool. I liked her story. And if you were to choose between these two characters of who's going to get a lead-up story, Cassian Andor is the only one that makes sense because she spent most of her life just staying out of everything. Like there was no real story to tell. Oh, but Sheev has got something to counter this. Let's do it.
I'm not even countering. I'm just going to add on to it because I feel, to your point, I 100% agree. Andor is a better character to write a story on. But the cool thing about doing an Andor story is that you can still fit Jyn into this story. And you said she's taking the background.
You have Saw Gerrera.
She definitely was hanging with Saw for a little bit. So even though Saw might not be interacting with her and him, and
it just depends on where we get Saul in the timeline, right? Of Jen,
100%.
Of Jen's time, because he could have already left her to continue his warmongering, basically, and his protecting her because people were starting to ask questions. It just depends on what portion of the evolution of Saul Gerrera. Is he going to be the robot we see in Rogue One, or is he going to be still more human? Or we're going to see him devolve into what we see in Rogue One through the show also? Because I don't think these cameos are going to be one and done. I don't think these are not like Coffee was saying. I don't think these are going to be cameos. I think these are characters in the long arc of this show.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see Saul multiple times in this show. We're gonna see the Senate multiple times during the show. It's not just gonna be like, oh, one episode with Mon Mothma and we're done. One episode with Saw Gerrera and we're done. This is gonna continue for 24 episodes.
I think Cassian's energy towards her in that scene is kind of more focused on the fact that the rebellion is built on the secrecy and the amount of people's lives that have been sacrificed and would be immediately sacrificed if the Empire finds out what they're really trying to do here. So what he's just telling her is like, this is bigger than all of us. I have been in it since I'm 6 years old, and that's why I'm telling you this, because it's not a joke. Like, you had to take it serious. And I think the show is going to break down that gritty, like you said, serious side. I hope, though, too, both sides. Like, that's why I was mentioning Infernal Squadron. I would even like it to parallel. If we don't have an Iden Versio character, have a pilot that's questioning what the hell the Empire is doing and why, and like we're following the orders of these Sith like wizards. Give me some normal people who are like, what the fuck are we doing?
Honestly,
I would love that.
Could fit her in. They could fit Infernal Squad in without breaking anything. Because if you read the first Infernal Squad,
her dad,
book,
I think, was in it too. So
her dad's one of the, and he's there in this in the second Death Star battle. He watches the other Star Destroyer come down into the Death Star. But her squadron is in the first Death Star battle. They're out there as part of the TIE Fighter squads. And then she survives it. She crashes on Yavin and has to be picked up, and they gather her up. Great book, by the way. The first Infernal Squad book is fantastic. That storyline from Battlefront 2 honestly could make its way in here. And I posted a video a long time ago talking about my theories for Bad Batch Season 2. And my theory was Infernal Squad would come into it and we'd get these two battling each other. But now with Andor coming into existence and this timeline, Infernal Squad, I think, could be a huge possibility, because Battlefront 2 is a Disney Star Wars project.
Yeah,
right. Could work.
I mean, honestly, there's been a lot of talk about season 2 for this show, and I think season 1 is going to be a lot of setup, and it's supposed to be this whole 5-year arc where season 1 is basically covering this first year. I wouldn't be surprised if season 2 covering the next 4, which also is the same 4 years that Rebels takes place. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of Rebels characters, maybe even Inferno Squadron, a whole bunch of
Squadron in there.
And that season might be more of the cameo season, but they're still going to fit into the story, and it's all going to be organic, I think.
Give me Wedge Antilles.
Do it. Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of time for them to cover. It just depends on how fast the episodes move. It's because it's a new show, it's going to move slow, because these are characters we don't have a huge familiarity with. Some of them we've seen time to time, but ultimately it's going to take time to set this up. And I honestly have no gripes about it coming out now versus 3 weeks ago, because if you needed to drop these to make the first arc complete to get into the 4th episode without the hangups, cool. Again, I'm always for Lucasfilm taking their time. I wish they would have pushed Kenobi a couple weeks and done a little more de-aging on my boy Hayden there, but I'm just saying, if they need the time, take the time, right? They're masters at what they do. In my opinion, fuck us, fuck the fans. Give it to us when you're ready, when it's ready.
Take me to dinner first.
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm there.
Or something.
Okay, let's watch the second trailer. This is the one that came out about a week ago. Yeah, about 10 days ago.
I don't know if I've seen this.
This is the second trailer. I didn't watch it very much. I think I just watched it once. So yeah, let's take a look at this, and then we'll discuss after.
Spies.
Clone troopers.
Saboteurs.
Such a beautiful shot.
We've all done terrible things on behalf of the rebellion. Cassian Andor. Don't matter what you tell me or tell yourself. You'll ultimately die fighting these bastards. Wouldn't you rather give it all at once to something real?
We've chosen a side. We're fighting against the dark.
There is an organized rebel effort. Drill down and get a hunt started.
You realize what you set in motion? People will suffer.
Time has come to force their hand.
At what cost?
Everything! Every day we wait, they get stronger.
Let's take them by surprise.
For the greater good. Call it what you will. Let's call it war.
People are standing up.
They're afraid. Right now, they're afraid.
Let's go!
Star Wars Andor 3-episode premiere streaming September 1st.
I just caught something in there. I didn't notice before, but I think it's definitely a throwback to THX 1138. That whole scene with the people in the white outfits going through the hallway and they're barefoot and everything. That looked like THX 1138.
Interesting thought indeed.
It's war. Like we've seen Star Wars, it's always been between certain people and certain people, but this is war. Like it's gritty.
Let's call it what it is.
And it's awesome. I mean, the fact that there's what are they, 45-minute episodes?
Yeah, 30, 45.
Yeah,
30, 45 is what I heard for the first 4.
So
I think 37 was the shortest, right? That I saw. I'm not sure. Maybe 35. But they're all around 40 to 45-ish, mostly.
And you're talking about 2 hours and 15 minutes of Star Wars at once, right? You're giving us a movie, basically, right? So
we're getting 4 movies, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And even if they wanted to break them up like this and air them every 3 weeks, I wouldn't give a shit.
Listen, calling these TV shows movies, slippery slope.
Dude,
they pale in comparison to the movies. I need a goddamn Star Wars movie.
Well, you're gonna wait a long time. So buckle
I know.
up,
what is it? 2025.
Pop in some babas. And
2025, we get the first of the Rian Johnson trilogy.
Strap into the shit. Strap into your kiddie seat and let's go. Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna get. They're talking about this guy who directed this stuff.
Yeah,
getting some movie cred and
you get a movie. You get a movie. You get a movie.
And I just like to say also
Oprah
to answer your question from earlier when you asked if we're going to get an airlock scene in here or the equivalent of there. We saw that in this trailer. He pretty much, I would assume, executed someone, shot him in the face at the beginning of that trailer at a lower elevation, so it might have been on their knees. I don't know. But I think the reason why I don't doubt any kind of real dark stuff in this show is because they've given it to us in Rogue One. I walked out of the theater watching Rogue One, 7 years ago now? 8 years ago? With basically one phrase that I kept saying is, wow, Disney, you actually did it. I didn't think you were going to. You killed everyone at the end, and I'm very impressed. And if they're willing to do that, I don't think they're going to pull any punches with this show. They're going to push the limits, as I think Hawk said earlier, of that PG-13 rating. And it's going to blow a lot of people's minds of like, whoa, Disney, you actually did it. I can't believe it.
Well, I mean, like you said, I think holding true to, the spies that died to get this information in the original trilogy, I think they held true to that representation. Like, right. Everybody died, everybody's got to die. You can't have one person that's like, and there was one survivor and then the survivor, right? I mean,
it's just something we never thought Disney would do that, because Disney, honestly, up to that point, I can't really think of anything that they did on that scale as far as like that dark of an ending. I don't know if Disney would give us the episode 3 ending that we got if they owned it at that time.
Pushed Gaston off of the tower in Beauty and the Beast. They'll go wherever the hell they gotta
go.
Well,
he had skull eyes, so
you know what? It's I'll compare it to the world of video games. What Disney's doing with this show and what I think they did with Mandalorian, why these things work out well. Compare this to EA. When they release games.
Yeah.
When EA backs off and lets the developers take the reins, amazing products come out and EA gets to put their stamp on it. Jedi Fallen Order is a perfect example. EA backed off, not all the way, but they backed off enough and we got a great product out of it. With Disney pulling back and letting Lucasfilm and Filoni and Favreau take the reins, this is where we're going to get excellent quality. And they did this with Rogue One. Disney was more focused on the main trilogy entries at the time, that the creators of Rogue One got a lot more freedom. And we ended up with a fantastic film that was brutal, darker than we had ever seen in any live action Star Wars, and ended, like you said, with everybody dying. It's just insane. So as long as they do this, as long as they give the proper creative freedom to the people truly working on this, I think we're going to have a stellar series here that will go down in some of the best Star Wars history.
We're on the edge right now. Let's just kind of take a minute, take a deep breath, and we're getting something totally different that we haven't gotten in Star Wars before. A lot of content, a very realistic and dark, as we keep throwing that word around. There's really no other way to describe it. But and also a show that doesn't use the volume, which I think is going to be a nice change of pace. The volume, I've said a couple times, is like CGI in the 90s. It was a new technology. It was really cool. A lot of people used it. A lot of people overused it. And now it's used tastefully for the most part. And I think the volume is kind of going to go down as that same way. If like you don't have to use everything in the volume. There's a realism that you get with practical scenes, practical locations that you can't really get the full depth of on the volume. So I think this show is just going to be monumental, and we're entering into a new phase of Star Wars. So in only a couple hours.
I think the volume gets, unfortunately, I think the volume gets a bad rap because the people that are using it right now are not the people that pioneered it, right? The people that shot Mando on the volume, strictly on the volume, only going outside for larger scenes that they literally could not physically duplicate with the practical props. Those people have mastered shooting on the volume because they pioneered it. Now you give that to another show like Kenobi, you give that to other shows that don't have the same crew, because shows don't have the same crew on every set, no matter who is directing, no matter who is producing, no matter what company it is. These shows all have different effects drivers. These guys have different producing staffs. They have different audio staffs. They have different directors of photography, and every director has a different vision for how they want their show shot. And Mando is the benchmark for shooting on the volume, for using that technology. And unfortunately, you know, Deborah tried to use it for every scene, where I think some of these scenes would have been way better if you would have gone out into the night sky. So it seems like, you know, the overuse of it is a large portion of why the volume.
I think the budget kind of maybe forced a little bit of that on her. Maybe they were like, okay, we're using the volume. We're using the volume.
I was wondering
if
it's a night.
I also have a question for you, Obsession, quick, because you might know, you know, you could speak to this because you're in production, but I wonder if people who are using the volume look at the Mandalorian and like, how the hell, like, how come they do that and what we try to do is like, are they sitting there like pissed because they can't figure it out?
Yeah, I think so, man. I really do. I think it goes the same way as
I would be.
I think it goes the same way as de-aging, right? I think the as much as we want to say, well, they used the same de-aging crew that the Mandalorian used to de-age Luke, that they used the same de-aging people in Kenobi. We don't know that. You don't know that. I'd have to look at credits. I'd have to really do a deep dive into who was doing the visual effects specifically for that. But I'm going to bet that those are not the same people, because everybody has a different group they like working with. And the Mando guys are probably busy as hell getting Mando done and shipped, so they're not able to just jump on Kenobi. This is the large problem in Hollywood right now, is that there's not enough people that know how to do what Shamook knows how to do.
Marvel is developing their own team because of that crisis.
Exactly.
They're bringing in their own. They're going to create their own ILM.
I'm in the wrong line of business.
I mean, it's
going to get nuts.
Honestly, there's not enough of them out there. So to think that the number one guys that are working on Mandalorian that pioneered this stuff are, as well as the de-aging folks, are working simultaneously on Kenobi and Mando and Andor and Ahsoka and you're beside yourself, because that is nowhere near the case. These guys are locked into probably a show all year, every year.
Yeah.
You know, so
if you look at things like, always TV shows always have a lower budget than film. That's just will always be. And now obviously we're in a world where, you know, certain shows have a bigger budget than you would ever think they would have. But I've noticed some things in a lot of modern TV shows, that stuff we kind of took for granted Nice.
That's not the quote.
And I saw this as a perfect example last night when I watched the premiere episode of Quantum Leap, which I loved.
It's a great episode.
But there were some flaws in the visual effects, and I feel like it's because it was rushed.
Sure.
One of the most common uses of, call it the volume or just straight up green or blue screen, is a pair of people driving in a car.
Yep.
And you're watching things pass by, right? We've seen that done amazingly, where you would never imagine there was a green screen there. And then you get what I saw last night in a 2022 premiere show on NBC. And my green screen right now looks a million times better than what was on that show.
Well, and see, and here's my thing is that they gave Andor to a group of people to watch the first 4 episodes, right? Rad. My question is, why aren't they doing that in the months leading up to it? Why aren't they?
Bro, I've been saying this for years.
Like, Lucasfilm has very, very, very poor. No, not marketing. They have a horrible PR staff. Yes, their PR staff can't keep a lid on nothing, but they have a really bad. What's the word I'm looking for? Where
it's like product testing.
Yeah, but there's a word for it. Where you have a bunch of people come in and
focus groups.
Yes.
Yeah, focus groups.
Focus groups are filled with a bunch of yes men, right? You need focus groups in 2022 that find imperfections in television shows the first time they watch them.
So here's what I've been saying for over a year now. Why don't they go to any Star Wars convention, grab 5 nerds, have them sign NDAs, present them the ideas, and if they shoot it down, you're on the wrong track. And I know that's not very practical to do it exactly that way, but why don't they go to some reputable people that know their stuff in the Star Wars universe and say, hey, we're thinking about, maybe present them with 3 options, one of which is the real one, and say, like, hey, what do you think about these ideas? Can you give us some feedback on what you would like to see, how you think this would play among Star Wars fans, just to get some feedback? Is that too hard? It is a bunch. It's a bunch of yes men. It's a bunch of people that are excited to be finally working on a Star Wars project.
Yeah,
they feel like they've made it. Yeah,
it's unfortunate, and I feel like the largest example of that, aside from everybody's taste or love, and Coffee's just had a his phone probably died. Honestly, I feel like they could have done a way better job with Anakin in Kenobi. Had somebody said something out loud, right? Like, hey, why does he look older? Why does he look older than Kenobi? Wait a minute. Who's teaching who here? What is right? I got beef with all these shows.
Agreed.
I just keep it to myself and try not to give him a reason to not make more.
It's over, Anakin. I'm younger than you.
You have so many lessons to learn, Anakin. When are you going to teach them to me?
That's great.
Somebody with a multiverse theory out there is like, I told you, it's not even the same people.
Yeah. See, there's a reason why he has so many wrinkles on his face.
Yeah.
Well, and see,
it's actually a clone.
It's the world between worlds, bro.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah. It's
actually Anakin with 2 A's.
With 2 A's. But it's actually, I mean, it seems like even in the Andor trailers, they did a really good job de-aging him. Right. So I feel like the Kenobi de-ager did just a really crappy job. And needed to be like, oh, he looks like I look, and I look young.
Or they were thinking, oh, the people want Hayden Christensen. Let's give him Hayden Christensen. I mean, didn't really care as much about continuity as much as like, look, this is the guy that you've wanted for so long. Here he is, and they didn't even.
I really didn't care, bro. I was smiling so damn hard.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
But it's the one. It is the one noticeable flaw, right? It is the one flaw in the show that I literally look at and go, Okay.
You guys could have trained at night. And you could have brought the lights down a little.
Right. They could have been night sky. You know
where it was most noticeable was actually the Order 66 flashback.
Right.
Because there he should have been so young looking. Like there's a very specific Hayden look in Revenge of the Sith.
Well, but he was supposed to be younger in that fight with Kenobi, right? Because he was still had his Padawan tail on. So like,
I don't think they put the scar on him either, but who cares?
Yeah, I mean, look, all I'm saying is the makeup team. Look, I like you guys, the de-aging team. I like you guys. That's an L. That's the only L I saw in the show. I enjoyed the rest of it, and I think this show is going to be better received by the fans, by the normals, and the Muggles, because the Muggles are going to like it no matter what. There's blasters, there's stormtroopers, there's Star Wars attached to it. They're going to love it. But I'm curious what the sweaties say, what everybody has to complain about.
Well, and that ties back to there's not a whole lot at stake as far as established characters or lore that they can really mess up with. Book of Boba Fett was interesting because people assumed they knew a lot about, the character design for Boba Fett, and it didn't line up with what a lot of people assumed about his character based on 4 lines of dialogue and whatever they had in the books. The same thing with Luke in the sequel trilogy. It's just people are so connected with these characters that they feel that they own them, and so when any little thing is changed about them, they feel personally violated. I don't really see a whole lot of potential for that in Andor. So that tells me that this show can only be, maybe it's terrible writing or bad acting or whatever, but as far as offending the sweaties, I don't really see a whole lot of potential for that.
I hope you're sitting down because I got some ideas.
No,
I really do. I got some theories that
send them.
All right, I'm gonna now because I'm gonna get it out of the way. All right, so I don't know how heavily Palpatine will be involved in the show. Does anyone really know? We're gonna get an appearance.
I mean, they're at the Senate and they're listening to somebody speak, and that's kind of what Palpatine does.
I hope we go way, way, way down into the depths of the Empire, of the planning, etc. And there's 2 things I would love to hear a mention of, see on a screen, anything. One would be a Jakku observatory, so a place where Palpatine has an outpost. Jakku is a planet that was part of a contingency. Palpatine's plan was literally, if I die, Gallius Rex and other people are going to lure all the remnants here and destroy this entire planet and kill all of you. You're not worthy of surviving if I'm not alive. That was literally a part of the plan in the book Aftermath. The other part of it is his other contingency about Exegol, etc. I don't care if that's dropped towards the end of the show, but we know, and the reason I'm bringing this stuff up, and this is the last I'll say of it, is we know Mandalorian's timeline is going to line up with future potential First Order involvement, etc. We know that Luke's going to be heavily involved in some stuff, and he was also there, took part in Battle of Jakku. So I would just hope to get some future hints of those storylines that these other shows are going to touch on. And I'm a sequel fan, so I had to say,
all right, they could mention Exegol. There could be, and then end up killing off the character that finds out about it. There could be some rebel, all
right, we're gonna tee one up for
well, I think multiple people had to know about it because there was the homie also in the sequels who worked for the Empire during the time. So there are people out there who knew Palpatine and Tarkin and all these people, and then again followed through with the First Order, the Final Order. I want some of that, the deep black ops on the Empire side.
Now, could we see this is a snowball's chance in hell, but could we see the hand of the Emperor in this, and would this be a good opportunity to introduce a Mara Jade for the future of the tombstone on Octu?
I love you for
and as to why we will see her in the future of Mandoverse and current Luke, in the current Mando sphere. So would this be a good opportunity to introduce the hand of the Emperor? This would be about the time that she could be coming into the fold.
You say that phrase one more time, Laney's gonna show up.
Okay, we're gonna do a Beetlejuice here. Mary Jade. Let's see if she pops in the chat.
Seriously.
Where in the timeline? Because at this point, wait, where is this lining up with Rebels? Is Rebels over by the time we get into the main portion of this show?
No.
You're muted. Muted, homie.
You're muted. Yep. You're muted.
Okay, I was muted. My bad. So no,
Go off. We said a lot.
This show takes
turning
place
red.
5 years before A New Hope, which is Rebels takes place 4 years. The beginning of Rebels is 4 years before A New Hope. So this show, the first season is a year before Rebels, and the second season is the exact same time period as Rebels takes place.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Thrawn the hand of the Emperor at this time?
No, but he's not. And
because he is at some point though.
Oh, man, fucking wild.
No, he's not. He never is the hand in canon. In canon, he is never the hand of the Emperor.
I thought the new revamped Thrawn trilogy was.
No, I love those books. They're fantastic.
So do I.
So the ending of the Thrawn trilogy, basically, no, you don't understand. I think Thrawn is going to be in this show. I do genuinely think he will be in this show, because the whole point of the Thrawn trilogy is showing you Thrawn's ascension through the Empire and how he got to where he was in Rebels. And the cool thing is the second book of the Thrawn trilogy and the third book take place in between Rebels. So the second book actually takes place after the battle with the Bendu. So that's after the second book takes place after that, and the third book takes place literally right before Rogue One.
Bro, are they?
I don't know why that's a no, but Krennic is actually super involved in that third Thrawn book, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts spying on the Krennic stuff and on Galen Erso, because he already knows that name by the time we get to Andor. I wouldn't be surprised if he's spying all of them and then spies on Thrawn as well. As he's.
What if the blonde lady in the trailers is directly a rank below Thrawn, and she's trying to root out these rebels?
She could be one of the governors that reported right to him.
So Thrawn becomes the Grand Admiral in 2BBY, which is actually towards the end of the show. But that's what I'm kind of saying, is he should be about an admiral or right under that by this time period.
He was a Grand Admiral, the second or third season of Rebels, right? And that was just
third season.
Okay, so that's about 2. Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yes. So this 2BBY is about when he gets promoted to Grand Admiral, and he's already been an admiral throughout all the books and whatnot. And the first book is actually him joining the Empire and talking to the Emperor and all this stuff. And it's actually freaking amazing stuff to go through and read. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of Thrawn in this show, and then we see him more in the Mandoverse too.
Or he's the big bad guy of Andor as a whole, or the main bad guy of the second season.
Definitely. I mean, the whole thing with Thrawn is he wants to crush the rebellion and people opposing the Empire, because he needs the Empire to help with the Chiss.
So when does here's a question: when does Ahsoka come out in relation to the second season of Andor?
She's December of 2023 or something like that.
Are you talking about actual time or timeline in the shows?
No, our time. Does the Ahsoka show come out after second season of Andor?
No, before. I don't think second season of Andor comes out till 2024.
Has been announced. Okay, gotcha. So maybe we do get a little tinge toward the end of this first season of Thrawn, hinting that he's the main bad guy for season 2, and then from the Ahsoka show, people will know Thrawn more, and then we go back to see his ascension and being the main villain of season 2, leading up to Rogue One.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of jumping around with that timeline also. So it seems tricky because it's pre, then it's post, then it's pre. Because Ahsoka,
it's Star Wars.
Ahsoka, we're not going to see him. We're not going to see him we're gonna see the after effects, the aftermath of Rebel. It's not gonna be the pre-Rebel stuff. It's gonna be the aftermath of Rebels, right? It's gonna be a him and Ezra's journey. So yeah, dude, I want some space whales.
Let's get them space whales up there.
Bro, I want like live action, like Falcor style in front of the volume.
Right.
In front of the volume, yes.
Oh, I'm dead, bro. That would be amazing.
You're really
Just
heavy,
like the
pal.
baby
I'm going
Rancor.
down.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so but yeah, so this is
Someday.
there's a lot up for grabs in this show. Nobody really knows. Even the people that have seen the first 4 episodes, you have no idea where the back half of this is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
The back 9 of this show could be completely off the walls. We have no idea what we're going to see. They could have kept this under wraps. Look what they did with Luke in Mando.
I'm saying.
They could have brought back the Plo Koon.
I was gonna say, are they?
Did I get it right?
Because
Plo Koon, yeah.
Okay,
we saw the.
They
Did
could
you
have
guys
brought
see the
back the
Plo
mask.
Koon mask?
Yeah.
You guys saw the photo?
They
Right?
did that to fool the crew.
Yes. I
No,
don't. First of
So
all,
are they really messing with us, Sheev? They're giving us
first of all, I
Plo
want to
Koon.
say I don't even know if that's Plo Koon's actual mask. That could
Same,
be a mask
same.
from his species.
It could have been from
But
a local Halloween shop.
Guys.
if it is his like the Plo Koon mask, which I mean they probably did that. Shout out to Dave Filoni, you know what I mean? But if that is Plo Koon's mask, to me that's just even more confirmation that that dude's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, he did, dude. He exploded. There was
Yeah,
no
he blew up.
We watched.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
You watched
Oh,
him
yeah,
tumble
we saw
into
that.
oblivion, bro. This isn't falling down a hole. He lit on fire. You dead, bro.
We need
Is
to
it
go
true
back to
that-
Order 66 frame by frame and find every dead
The 6
moment.
frames of
Yeah.
him dying.
Oh, there's his arm.
Yeah, you
Flying with him.
see his face just tumble through the screen.
Oh. God.
It's a brutal. It's one of the more
R.I.P.
brutal ones.
I
okay.
like the part where his body, like not his head because his head is gone, but his body splats against the lens and the blood drips down. That's my
They had that in
favorite
the extended cut. Yeah.
So
Is that like the Grievous first Obi-Wan extended cut? That thing is
are we
brutal.
are we
don't like
going
that.
to see any Jedi in this show?
No.
No.
Not in this season, at least.
No lightsabers, no nothing.
I
Nothing?
think they're
I'll say
going
never?
to do a hard
Whoa,
pass
whoa.
on anything Jedi. We might hear mention of the Force, like in the terms of just somebody saying, "May the Force be with you." Mon Mothma has been known to say that. But I don't think we're going to see any Force wielders in this first season.
Okay, so we're saying that this is 5 ABY?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
No, BBY.
BBY, before.
Yes.
Before
the
battle.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
yes.
Everybody is under the same consensus that chat, you feel free, yes for 1, 2 for no. Will we see any Jedi in this show at all? Anybody?
And the only Jedi
Anybody-
that are
does anybody
around,
say yes?
like, it's kind of limited.
I
right?
say yes. Does anybody else say yes? As much as I'm going to hate it, does
Well-
anybody else say yes?
By the time we jump in, is Kanan dead?
No.
No.
Ezra and Kanan meet about, I'm going to say right
A year
about
after
this
this.
time. Maybe about a year to 6 months, depending on exact monthly timelines. But
If anything, those would be the only 2 that I think would make any sense.
nuclear
showing up.
take. Could we see Rosario talking to Bail as Ahsoka in this, as we heard in the Ahsoka book?
See, I
I'm
never
not sure
read
on that.
the Ahsoka book.
Would this
Me
be okay? So at the end, really, you've never read it?
No,
Oh, bro, I'm
unfortunately.
gonna
Get
send you
the
a copy.
audio book
me
read
neither.
by
Will you
Ezra
read it?
Epstein.
Will you read it, or will you audio read it?
I'll probably audio read it.
Okay, then
I'll read it.
Especially because Ashley does the audio.
Oh, she's
yeah, it's
phenomenal.
fantastic.
Mm.
Okay, so without I can't spoil it. We know the story, so
Right.
you know, there's a point at which those two have a conversation in the book. I won't speak the whole thing, but there's a point where they have a conversation in the book at where Bail knows Ahsoka's alive. Would
Okay.
this be a good opportunity to bring Ahsoka live action into the fold of this timeline.
The Fulcrum. Someone dropped it in chat.
Fulcrum, exactly.
She doesn't even have
She's
to
a
be
large
trained.
part of the rebellion.
But she always had her voice changed. So
You know what?
It's her, but
Chat,
yeah,
feel free. 1s and 2s. Let's go. You forget in this. There's 20 of y'all in there.
I was gonna say no obsession, but Tales of the Jedi drops in October. I'm kind of wondering if
What a great time.
Because I mean, all 6 episodes drop at once, and I was already gonna say this at some point, but I think October Andor should still be running, right?
Oh yeah, dude. There's 12
10
seasons.
weeks.
Oh, that,
Yeah. So
we're gonna
who
be into
knows?
December, dude, potentially.
Who knows?
Right. So that's my thing is what a great opportunity to, number one, feed the Rebels fans with a Fulcrum, even if it's just a Fulcrum transmission. But I think it would be more prudent at some point if we're going to see a Bail arc in this at all. Because Cassian Andor can't be on the screen every second of every minute. So if we get, a Bail story, could it be a live action Kanan and Ezra? Could it be
Freddie Prinze, man? Freddie Prinze.
I'm gonna say that's probable, but for season 2.
Yeah. Season 2, I think, is when we're gonna get more of the Force users. And real quick, I loved Santa's comment because he said we've seen Guardians in the trailer. Speaking of Guardians of the Wills, and he says if Chirrut was a Force user, then one or more of the Guardians could also be a light side Force user potentially. And that definitely could be the case. I didn't even know there were Guardians in the trailer, but that's cool. I'm very interested in the Guardians of the Wills.
Well, and I mean, really, like I said, I feel like Ahsoka becoming Fulcrum is something that they illustrate in the Ahsoka book. I feel like they're using this time with Tales of the Jedi, could potentially show her in this as showing the Muggles. This is a thing, because if they didn't watch Rebels, you got to feed these guys the breadcrumbs to catch up because they're not like us. So what an opportunity to introduce Ahsoka into live action, into this time frame.
Give people a little more backstory of her.
And then her Tales of the Jedi episode giving us her entire backstory that basically erases the Ahsoka novel, because I think we're going to get that story in Tales of the Jedi. And then her story comes out next year with her full show, right? That's a really good way to release her to the Muggles, to the people that don't know. It's a really good way to release her, and we could see that in this show.
That's a very good point.
I like that take. Just because, I mean, based on what, like, the Muggles, as you say, based on what they've seen, like, unless they've watched Rebels or Clone Wars, which I kind of doubt, like, the only thing they've seen her in is just popping up to say hello and Book of Boba, and the one interaction she had with Grogu sending Mando to Luke and everything, and that's it.
That's it. And then they're going to drop Tales of the Jedi and be like, here's your introduction. What a way to do it than with a show that's on fire. And it's just got to be a 1 minute scene. A 1 minute scene on a Hammerhead cruiser in a random ass spot in space, because that's how she did it in the book. They were in a random ass spot in space and she just showed up, right? Like a wizard. So
it's so wizard.
Like a space wizard. So
is that too close to a fan service cameo though?
Dude, that's yeah, but you know what? That's a set purpose though. She was Fulcrum. Fulcrum was a very instrumental part of the rebellion until she announced herself as Ahsoka. Fulcrum was a very large source of information.
Yeah, we could just see Bail talking to her through a transmission. Do the same thing they did in Rebels, where you're just looking behind.
Just do the logo. Just do the Fulcrum logo, and then people like, who's Fulcrum? And then they got to dive into Rebels. It's another way to get people hooked on Disney content, right? It's for a purpose to lead into Ahsoka's larger story. It's just an easy, for me, it's just an easy opportunity
Dude, I think it's really smart too, actually, now that I think about it. Even if we get a Kanan like one episode, because like a half a second we see him, because they want people to know who Ezra is. They want people to go back and watch this cartoon before Ahsoka's show comes
But like I said,
out.
I could see that being season 2, because by then,
sure,
these people are already intermingling and they're seeing a lot more of each other in Rebels. So I could see that being a season 2 thing down the road. But just the first 6 or 7 episodes, dude, I could really see them just throwing that in there for a 1-minute blurb as to information that she's providing to the rebellion. I gotta hide, but here's some good intel that my people got. Rex, Rex and his band of misfits, potentially the Bad Batch, the sisters. There's a group of people that there's this little network that Ahsoka has out there that nobody else has. Right.
And in Rogue One, we already know. Look, Chopper rolls by, and they call Hera over the PA system.
We even see the ghost.
You even see the ghost. So it just seems like there's a lot of opportunity to lead into the stuff that's coming. And I think maybe that's what the director was saying when he's like, nobody is cameoed for no reason. If you see somebody, it is for a purpose. It is driving either this show forward or the larger arc forward. And I think these are potential people we could see that people might be surprised to see. Right. Last question, because I know everybody's got to take a nap before go time. I know she's like almost on his pillow. And this goes back to the thumbnail. Are people going to hate this?
Of course.
Chat, 1's for yes, 2 for no's. Feel free to get in the conversation.
I had a poll up yesterday on my channel, and I think 18 to 20% said "let it burn" as a response to the show, which I was very surprised by. Now, a bigger percentage, was like 34% or something, said they were super hyped for it. So, I mean, that's good at least. But I mean, some people, some men just want to watch the world burn.
You beat me to it.
Which, well, I mean, there's always people that are going to complain about everything, and I use the example of when Obi-Wan said "hello there." Like, there's people that are going to take that line, which is the best part of the show for many of us. They're going to take that and say they couldn't even think of an original line of dialogue. They had to use the same thing to get people excited. Like, they're going to find stuff to complain about everything. But I think if we focus on the show and what we like and dislike about it, and I'm not overly positive in the Star Wars community, I just tend to, and we've talked about this at length, Obsession, I choose to put more effort into the stuff that I appreciate about the show than, putting all my focus into what I didn't like, because what am I here for? To enjoy Star Wars and to feel that magic again.
Preach, Coffee. I love that.
I mean, that's the point of why some of us do this, right? Like, I'm not going to feed the wrong wolf. I'm not going to subject myself to the negativity for click. Right? The muggle
inside each man are 2 loth wolves.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing, dude. You got to figure out which direction you want to feed. You want to be positive or you want to be negative. I feel like the negativity weighs on people. It makes them dislike the content as a whole, and that's not. It no longer becomes fun, right?
Once you go down the dark side, bro, if it's not just giving into it, that shit's a hunger.
Forever will it dominate your destiny,
right? And I feel like on YouTube, once you start shitting on it, the people that are watching and subscribing expect you to continue, and I will not subject myself to that for clicks, right? Sorry, I'm not
what
into
I've
it.
heard about the tone of the show overall and what people are gonna, I think, have a hard time swallowing is that, like the Clone Wars, it's gonna parallel a lot of current politics that we deal with right now in society. You're gonna see people being oppressed for being a specific type of person. You're gonna see people in places of power that don't deserve that power, or that you don't feel deserve that power. So I think it's going to touch home for a lot of people, and hopefully, I respect that with Star Wars. Hopefully the fans overall can also try to do that.
The original did.
this is a large sentiment throughout the fandom, is that people will hate it because it's Star Wars Disney, period. Because it's Disney Star Wars, people
You'll
are
have
like,
some of that.
there's a lot of that. And just like that's what we do here. I'm interested, we're interested in keeping it more optimistic. We call a spade a spade. Look, if it's awful, if there's something wrong with it, I'm no problem speaking out, but I'm not going to piss on it for the sake of pissing on it. Right. So this show is going to be highly political. This show is going to have a lot of Senate conversations and a lot of debate amongst friends, much like we do here. So I'm interested in this show as hopefully a bridge point. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that the people that are negative about this stuff are going to have a positive swing on this show and want to talk about it in a positive way to where, you know, it's not so polarized, right? I'm hoping this show does a little bridge building is what I'm saying.
I think with this show, it's going to be like with things like Book of Boba Fett, for example, there was a lot of stuff right out on the surface who wanted to hate. It was just right there, just ripe for the taking. So, but I think this show, though, any hate that comes its way, I think a lot of it's going to be reaching. I think they're going to be
great
digging.
Look. You need to do thumbnails with that exact setup, with you reaching. It look really dope with the background. It's just like that's
actually really cool.
Nice.
Thumbnails. You got that's absolutely where
I got some ideas.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. That it looks awesome like that. But
for those of you guys that don't know,
another thing too,
we share thumbnail ideas a lot.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of like 3 or 4 versions on my case, like, but yeah,
I think we all do thumbnail game up.
Dude, this group of people spends a lot of time on weekend reviews, daily reviews. Sometimes we put ourselves out there to get critiqued quite a bit, so we're all working to get the thumbnail and title and use of feature game on point. Otherwise you get ridiculed in some of these reviews, man. It's brutal. So something
people are praising who have seen the first 3 episodes that people have been heavily criticizing lately, myself included, is the writing. A lot of people are saying that the writing in this show is like some of the top tier Star Wars. And I think it's because of the genre that he's writing. He's done it before. Like the director, Born Supremacy trilogies. Like, come on, if you're not into those, as far as that genre, if you're not a fan of those movies,
I love those.
Well, and it goes to show that I think that's what some of us will enjoy about this is the spycraft and the spy games of the war, right? We've seen the brunt force, we've seen the shadowed rebellion. Now we get to see the gritty part of war, the secret telling, the lying, the deception. This is the seedier part of war.
And Disney's really in their infancy with this stuff too, guys. Like, they're getting better at picking their directors. They've kind of proved that. So,
well, should Disney continue to, I feel like their reward system is fucked, right? Robbie Rod did one good episode on Mandalorian with the Boba entrance, and you get a full directing job without showing any other chops. So their promotion, the way that they pick directors, I think is kind of fucked. And I would like to see them, not use the folks that are good at TV. Bryce would be a great film director, right?
I think so too, man.
A lot of people in their camp that would make amazing film directors. Don't bring in the Feiges. Don't bring in the, I mean, everybody likes Taika. I'd say let Taika do his craziness outside of the spectrum of Star Wars. Bring in some fresh new talent. Do what George would have done. Bring in some fresh new talent.
I think the cool thing with the Taika movie, though, is that, especially if it's like just a Star Wars movie for him, is that it would probably be in a new time period, so he could be open to do more with it. And to your point, Rick Famuyiwa is now a showrunner on The Mandalorian, and becoming an even bigger part of it. So
those people in those places to continue building that that legacy for the television portion of Lucasfilm. But for film, go to the well and stay away from big name directors. Get away from the JJs. Get away from the Ryans. Get away from the Robbie Rods, right? Get away from these people. Unless you're going to give a Tarantino Star Wars movie, right? That's the only one I want to see that's big name. Aside from that, let's go to the well of young, ambitious people that are going to put something new and exciting in the pipe, not get dragged down by their predecessing movies. Is this going to be another Thor Love and Thunder? Is it going to suck like Love and Thunder? Right? Stay away from that. Grab some new, fresh. I mean, to the point, I don't even really, to the point if you want to go to the well of people that are making fan films and give them an opportunity to come in and direct or write, right?
Or at least to advise.
Just something, maybe to critique your whatever. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of talent. It doesn't have to be a JJ and Ryan pissing match. It doesn't have to be a Robbie Rod coming in and fucking up something that he did amazing at, right? These things can be course corrected and lead us into the sequels properly.
Foots asked a really good question, by the way, real quick. Something I wanted to bring up. Do you guys think that there's a chance they'll release it early like they did with Kenobi?
I saw that
they did do that
comment come up, and I immediately just went on to Star Wars Twitter because
wasn't that because they were having Star Wars Celebration and all the people were like up and awake and doing stuff?
That's because people like Sheev got an early access viewing, and they're like,
"Bro, it's refreshing right now."
People already got an early access viewing of this though, and there's 3 episodes, so come on, like you don't want to make the
when you guys crack the code for the Disney Plus page, let me know. There's people trying to hack it right now.
The East Coasters will be up
it's
like
uploaded.
6 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, nope.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's. I just feel like there's a lot of opportunity coming down. I watched Sheev's show the other day. I'm not upset about no movies till 2025. Let's finish what we're doing first. Let's finish the Mandoverse. Let's get this to a point where we can do a cinematic. Let's stay in this lane. I know the Star Wars, fanatics are like, fuck you. We want Star Wars movies yesterday. Let's finish what we're doing first. And then let's take that creative team and have them make movies, right? That should be what we're looking for, not to rush content out because we are in a hurry. Right? This stuff has to suss out. They have a lot of repair work to do. They've got lots of damage control to do to course correct, to make everything make sense, because you let two big assholes that have huge egos in directing have a pissing contest with $4 billion. Right? So
we're going to spend the next 10 years telling all the stories in between the gap to make it all better.
Exactly. And as much as everybody hates it,
it's poetry.
I can't wait to see Bobby Frick in The Mandalorian giving us that first cobblestone on the bumpy road that's going to lead us to the sequels. So I know that's an unpopular opinion, but
who knew that Babu Frick would be the gateway to get us there?
Babu Frick is like the gateway drug.
It just makes everything better.
So it's the one thing in the sequels everybody was like, all right, that dude was awesome.
That meme where he's like, I'll allow it.
Porg sucked, but Babu Frick kicked ass. Right? Like that was it. Like there were two cute new characters that got introduced, Porgs and Babu won that race hands down.
Oh, for sure.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I never even
go blank.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Babu lead the way, pave the way, that little guy into that. Any other things you guys think we're gonna see tonight? Any big revelations? Big, star power stuff that we haven't seen.
There's a jaw-dropping moment in episode 3. I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a slow burn, a lot of setup in the first 2, and then in 3 there's gonna be a payoff with a hook to get us into episode 4.
I do like a slow burn.
I'm with you.
I do like a slow burn.
I think we're gonna get that jaw-dropping moment that honestly we're not even thinking of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I know a lot of speculation, but I want you guys to go deep in your bag of tricks, right? I want you to go like shoulder deep and find the speculation that no one's looking at right now, right? Like, what is it going to be?
I'm married.
Are we gonna? Is it the Emperor? Does the Emperor see? Do I sense rebellion in the ranks? Right? Is it going to be one of those things, or is it going to be, Lord, Callus, a young Callus, making his way through?
That definitely could be possible. I didn't even
Imperial Security Bureau.
I'm going to say any fan service, whether necessary to the story or otherwise, is going to be missing from at least the first 5 episodes. I think this is going to be real. I think it's going to be a spy war thriller.
Yeah.
It's going to be setting up, putting all the players in place, and I don't think we're going to see any Fulcrum. We're not going to see any Callus. We're not going to see any Thrawn in these first few episodes. I think it's going to be real. It's going to set the stage for this to be an actual situation that we could have been part of if we had been alive in that time.
Yeah, no, I honestly don't expect anything jaw-dropping, to be honest. I don't. I think it's going to be something where we're going to be sucked into the story in the first episode. Like, right away, they're going to draw us in with the clone trooper stuff and probably young Cassian. We're going to, go in along for this ride with Cassian in the first episode. And by the third episode, I think it's going to transition from him as a kid, like through the first 3 episodes. And by the third one, he's going to be kind of starting to join the cause.
Bro, what if it just ends with that shot where he's walking up next to the other soldiers and he like straightens his hat and he's just standing in row, and that's the end of the third episode, is he's fully entrenched now.
Are we going to see Order 66 in the first 3 episodes?
I would love if it starts with it. And I know that's so overplayed now, but I think that could be the whole thing with the clone troopers being there. And
I don't even think it's overplayed. I think we only got little teases. We got barely anything.
Oh, I mean, this is going to be filthy. Kids, cover your ears. But in the grand schemes of this, the Order 66 is just the tip, right? Like it's always a tease.
Yo, what if after we go way deep, way down in there deep, and they've shown all the little half-second clips of Order 66? What if you can mash all those clips together?
Wait a minute.
Has anyone tried to put these clips together yet?
I've seen people do it.
Wait a minute.
And it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
So wait a minute. You're telling me Meg is positive on this? Like saying amazing things about this?
She says the best thing she's seen since Mando.
Shit.
Nice.
In terms of Star Wars. So
yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. I'm digging that shit.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a very
look, Meg is,
she is the best.
Welcome, Foots. I know you're a Nerd Avenger, so welcome. If this is your first time, everybody who's in the chat, like, subscribe, do all that fun shit. I'm not good at promoting myself. Meg's a boss. Number one. Meg's a boss ass bitch. Number one. Like, she is straight up the fucking boss. I know there's other big millions of subscriber Star Wars out there. That person outshines most of them on a daily basis, right? She is literally tapped into the vein of Star Wars. I can't say it enough. Just nothing but high praises. And if she's calling it a W with what she's seen,
dude, I'm feeling even. I was already
on the opposite end of that spectrum. John Campia is saying the same thing. So
really, okay, I thought you were going to say
even
John
some haterade
crapping on it.
No, even someone who's typically full of haterade, he's saying the same thing.
Who's that? Right. I'm sorry,
it was John Campia.
John Campia,
really?
Too.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Right, rare. Yes, I agree.
Oh, interesting. See, these are things I don't keep up on. See, I'm trying to form my own opinion here.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I wish I could stay up till 3 and watch this.
I mean, I might take a couple hour nap after this and just see what's what. I know Shiva's itching to hit the pillow again.
Yeah, I've been under the weather, so I was planning on napping, but I think I'm doing a stream at 9. So
you got an hour and a half. You could get one in.
Power through.
So Mike Zero. Oh, here we go. Here we gotta bring it up. Mike Zero confirms Favreau confirms.
Favreau confirms Andor is Babu Frick origin story. Mark Hamill is back.
Oh, I love that guy.
That's an amazing headline.
He is like the clickety clickbaiter.
I'll click on that.
Yeah, I heard that Babu Frick is actually Luke's hand, just reanimated.
What? Whoa! Wow.
Here's.
You're out of control. That's it. You can't take you anymore. You're reaching, bro. You're reaching. Okay. Last thoughts. Anybody got anything? I mean, obviously she's got something tonight. Coffee, are you doing something tonight?
I am not. I may or may not be doing a reaction to the first episode at 3 a.m. Trying to get that out before everyone wakes up. And I say may or may not because I don't even know if I'm going to be doing reactions. But if I am, it'll be out when you guys wake up before I go off to work, and then probably get the other two tomorrow night.
Copy that.
And then of course a live stream on Monday because that's what I do. You guys are all welcome, by the way.
Mondays. If they drop early, look for it at the top of the hour, 11 Pacific. There you go.
Why 11?
They're weird.
So people can watch it before they go to bed. They want people to watch all three.
Yeah.
We normally do 3 a.m. I guess for all three. I just figured they would do 9 p.m. Pacific again, which would be 12 Eastern.
They might.
I don't know.
They might.
11. I'm down for 11.
So this is coming out on the regular Wednesday time slot, right? What, the 26th of October or the 26th of October is Tales of the Jedi, right?
Yes.
So that's a Monday.
Thank God. Oh, I didn't know if it was or not, and I was just thinking about it during the stream.
I think it's a Monday, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but
because if we get 6 Tales of the Jedi, I guess they're a half hour each probably, but if we get 6 of those and an Andor episode, we're gonna be
shorter.
So Monday,
I guess so.
Monday could be the Monday's another day. We'll be here all day Monday. I don't think I have work. I have to look. I might. I don't know. But we'll be either way. We'll be talking about that next week. So I think Andor is this week, and Monday, right? October 26th is Tales of the Jedi. So I'm curious if they're going to drop that Sunday night at midnight or if they're going to do that like Monday night at midnight. So we'll have to keep an eye out.
And yes, politics. I do live Monday nights usually at 10 p.m. Eastern. Subject to change because I have 2 very young Padawans.
Little people.
True. The grind is real.
The grind is real. Anybody else have anything to plug, say, talk about, get off their chest, gripe, anything? Feel free. Now is the time to let it out.
I'll see you guys later. I'm doing a stream at 9, and then I think watching all 3 episodes at midnight if it drops at midnight.
Hopefully it drops at midnight. Otherwise, you're going to be on for 3 hours. You're going to be on for 3 hours before the shit starts.
Yeah, I'm never going to get sleep at that point.
You're not going to sleep at all tonight.
No.
Yeah, someone hit me up on Discord if it does drop because I'll probably be sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh no.
I mean, you ended it?
That scares me, Santa.
No, I didn't end anything.
Oh, it says. Why does it say gray up there? That's so weird. I was gonna say I got a lot of shit to get off my chest.
Unless they kick me
now's
off.
not the place.
Unless
but I do that on my channel while I'm gaming. So if you guys want to come watch me spaz,
we do watch Hawks play a lot of games. He goes what are you on right now? Cycle? Is that what you're on?
The Cycle. I'm trying to get back into Tarkov. Shit is hard, bro. So hard. But I think it's ironic too, and I've been talking about this is a new genre of games. It's like extraction gaming, but a first-person shooter. And Modern Warfare actually just announced that they're going to have a mode that's extraction mode for Warzone 2. So if you guys want to see what that's about, this new genre of first-person shooter, that's what I'm doing.
We are still getting down on some Fortnite. I still haven't finished the Lego Star Wars series, so I think I'm going to be jumping into some of that next week.
They put out the rest of the DLC for it too, so you got all the characters.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I think I'm going to do episodes 1, 2, and 3 next week. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll have to see what the schedule looks like.
Nice.
If anybody is new here, don't forget to get down there, like and subscribe. We are like 150 people away from getting to the point of the giveaway, so get out there, tell your friends. There is still a PlayStation 5 sitting behind me.
Yeah, you finally passed me.
Waiting for a yeah, I did.
Congrats.
Waiting for a new home, so make sure to tell your friends and get out there and come over to the channel and subscribe so we can get to that point, because I want to get that thing off of that rotator so I can put some new toys on there.
Nice.
We're gonna be doing some more Lego stuff here pretty soon. I'm gonna end up purchasing some more stuff. So Matt's got a and one Nubian. So we are going to do more, but yeah, I always like having everybody around. I am thankful that you guys came to hang out, and I know tonight's going to be a big night. It totally leads into the rest of the year of Star Wars and gives us some really good stuff to look forward to. So get over tonight, 9 p.m. Get over to Vader's Lair and check out Sheev. He'll be on the hot take leading into Andor. As always, HawksHolorcon is over there. Oh, dude, that one looks great.
Nice.
That one came out fantastic,
wow,
dude. Yeah. You need to make a moment.
It came out solid.
Yeah.
Came out solid.
I gotta get me one of those.
Awesome.
Get over there and check out Matt's Retro Gaming. He has been having a whole lot of fun over there lately, putting out shorts. If you didn't know, last plug for YouTube, they're changing their monetization policies. So it is new days for short creators. So if you're a short creator, continue to make short content. They're gearing towards you. And so you're going to see a lot more shorts from us, from Matt, I'm sure from Hawks, Sheev, and Coffee. You're going to keep up on a lot of stuff. So
are shorts going to finally count as watch time?
Yes, they are.
Oh my gosh.
And they are going to there's another way to monetize. So it's 1,000 subscribers, and
they're taking them more seriously now.
Or now the benchmark is outlandish. I'm not going to lie to you. If you're a short creator, they want 10 million views.
No thanks.
And 1,000 subscribers in 90 days. Bro, it is outlandish.
Yeah,
the numbers are
creative.
It's because they want.
I don't know.
Is that still or the watch time?
No. Yeah, it's 1,000 and it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, or 1,000 subscribers and 10 million views on your shorts in 90 days.
Well, that's
let me put this into perspective for you, okay? I have a Crystal TikTok that we've been running for just over a year now, like 4 or 5 videos a day on TikTok. We just hit 1 million views on TikTok.
Yeah.
So 10 milli, bro. Like
this is
honestly, in 90 days.
In 90 days.
No, you better just have them on repeat.
It's madness, but it benefits us because now short content minutes and hours count towards monetization. And for the people that are already monetized and you are doing shorts, those will start to earn you money. So the split is now a 45-55 for YouTube, because now they have to pay the licensing for all the songs that they're automatically clearing and letting through. So that 10% that they took from YouTubers is actually going to the monetization to the people that have the copyrights on songs and pieces of video and audio. So things have changed, but for us it makes a better difference, because if we're creating shorts out there, we will begin to get paid for them, and they will begin to count towards dollars and cents. So that's great.
Sweet.
Keep your eyes out for a lot more shorts. I'm sure everybody's going to be doing more. And as always, don't forget to get your pets spayed and neutered. Help control the pet population. I'm going to continue to do that until they send me a letter. And honestly, that's for my boy Bob Barker. So, yeah, guys, thank you for joining. Let's get out of here so that everybody can get a little bit of rest before the midnight premiere. But thank you guys for coming through. I always appreciate my friends in the space. As always, stay positive. May the force be with you all. Have a great night, and we will catch you the next time.